Yeah, what up, y'all? Trap Life Ace. Welcome again, another episode of Trap Life FX. Today is April 22nd, approximately 10:29 Eastern. Looking at the charts right now in front of these charts. I hope you guys had a good trading day yesterday. We're going to see that some of the things that we were looking at actually came and actually paid out, and we actually took some trades. We are currently in a case study on a $1,000 demo account, and we're just running the case study, guys. I'm not going to say that I'm going to do anything spectacular with this account. We're just going to play this account and show you guys every day how we make trades, how we look at trades, how we look at the market, how we read the candlesticks, and how we make decisions on entering and exiting the market. And this is just a learning lesson for you guys. Obviously, I implore you all to study, run those demo accounts, run hundreds and hundreds of trades through those demo accounts, using different strategies as you learn, and as you uncover the ones that work for you, test those on a demo account. Test that one strategy that works really, really well for you. Test that on a demo account. Get a couple hundred trades on a demo account with that account, and then it's at the end of those few trade at those few hundred trades, you're gonna find out what your trading ratio is, what your win to loss ratio is. If you're above 60%, then you're ready to rock, in my opinion, right? But again, this is only education. This is not financial advice. You take on the risk that you're willing to take with your money, and follow all the guidelines placed in front of you when it comes to risk management. All right, so let's go ahead and dump into these charts, y'all. So right now we're on the Australian dollar. We are currently on a 4-hour chart. So we got the Audi dollar. Yesterday we marked this area down here. We understood that this was an area of reversal, and we drew this zone to cover the base of this support right here, as well as the wick. And we got some test in that area. We had some rejection in that area, right? So we had this right here, this structure that we're looking at in this rejection is what we consider to be a pregnant bull. All right, now a pregnant bull represents the sellers who are in control for hours, right? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 hours. Sellers were in control, actually, and more, because the sellers created this sell pressure and created this wick right here. So that's another 24 hours. So for a full day, the sellers were in control. Because remember, guys, just a couple of days ago when we looked at this chart, we were playing around in this area, and we were deciding whether or not we were going to continue north. We had to break above this resistance level here, and we also have this blue line marked on a smaller time frame to show these wicks and the actual resistances that were created by these wicks inside of a smaller time frame, and that gave us this level here, which was even a stronger resistance level to get through. We never got through that. We bounced off of it and we reversed. And so here's where we were yesterday. Here's where we are today. If you entered the trade, and the trade would have been entered, you can enter on this candle, or you can enter on this candle. Now, why you would enter on this blue candle if you're trading on a 4-hour? Now, some people don't trade on such large time frames, but I want to show you guys that candlesticks are candlesticks. It doesn't matter. The time frame is simply saying, hey, this candle is going to be running. The price is going to be measured in this candle for this amount of time. However, the action that's inside of that price candle is still action that you can trade on. So we're trading again on price action, right? So we look at the price action that occurred here. We are in this zone right now. This candle, this red candle, if you thought you might want to enter on this red candle, you would have been okay to enter on this red candle, but I would have waited for this blue candle. And the reason why is it's stronger as a reversal point. A pregnant bull is stronger as a reversal point if it also serves as a support level. Okay, that's key. So that means that if it serves as a support level, then you can expect that it's going to be a strong move. All right, I'm going to show that we actually entered a trade in this. That's why you can see this thing popping up over here, right? And I'll show you where we entered the trade at. All right. Now, if you're waiting for this to become a support, you have to wait for the open and close of the candle to the right. All right, because you have, technically, you should also be waiting for this candle to open and close as well. All right. Now, for those of us who are looking at confluence, right? I would have taken this trade somewhere, and I'll show you guys where we took the trade, but it would have been okay, in my opinion, to take the trade on this candle, because not only are you're coming off of this major support level here as far as a reversal, you're bouncing off of a trend line. All right, you're bouncing off of a trend line, and we have some of that confluence in our favor. Right, so let's go down to a smaller time frame and see where we are with that. Right, so here's where the rejection occurred. Here's where we entered the trade. All right, and actually I can go ahead and show you on the 15-minute that a buy trade was taken, and we were able to get the pips that we went for in this. Right, so we were going for our entry was at this level right here, right? And 62900, and we went for 28 pips. We didn't go for much. It's 28 pips. We were just trading to the next area. Okay, trading to the next zone. So we knew that this area would have been a place that we wanted to trade to. All right, and we all had all that marked, right? So that's really why we marked these charts, and we anticipated, we set our alerts. So the trade was entered here. We got in, got out, quick and easy. All right, quick little 28 pips in that trade. But we could have went for more. We could have went for a lot more. So let's go back to the 4 hour. We can measure if you entered the trade in this level, how many pips you might have walked away with at that point. So you entered the trade on that candle there. You got 75 pips out of that there. 75 pips, not bad off of that quick trade. Now, we took that trade inside of, currently we are in a general uptrend. But actually, when you start to look at what was going on here, we may be going into consolidation as a trend, what they call a ranging trend, right? Ranging meaning that it's just like mountain ranges. It's peaks and valleys all around the same levels. Okay, so that's what we're actually seeing, a formation happening right now. All right, so interesting. All right, so let's go ahead and continue to look at what we got going on in the chart. So we can see a 77 pip swing in the bullish direction. So that was a long trade, successful there. So let's go ahead and take a look now at what is on this chart. So all right, we got a lot of lines going on right now because we're still in these same zones, guys. Look, we're stuck between this zone here and this zone here. All of these markings down here currently are on our radar, but they don't come into play until the price action gets to that point, right? So we need to go ahead and just really focus on what we have going on here. So this trend line right here, we're actually going to have to remark this in blue because it's the upper trend line. So you guys see, right? Blue's on top, red's on bottom. It's real as far as my color coding. That's how I do the color coding. Right now, we created a pregnant bear right here coming off of the zone. But this is also a mini zone right here, too. This is a rejection level here. We have to mark this on a 4-hour chart. We have to mark this rejection level here. You see the support area created some friction for that, for the price at this point, and it came back and bounced off of it, and actually we're bouncing off the 55 AMA. So we may be looking at coming down on our downswing. Now, if we're coming down to create a down trend, here's our high and our low, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high. Then we could potentially be building up some momentum to push further down to create a lower low. So we may be looking at entering sells on this particular currency pair right now. All right, we entered buys and we played the buys, pretty safely. We didn't overdo it, but we may be looking at sells. There's some confluence showing us we broke below this zone. We're about to close below it. This candle was alive for another 2 hours and 21 minutes, so we can see what happens there. If we go down to a smaller time frame, here we are in a 2 hour. We're on pace coming back down to this level here again. And the amount of pips that may be gained from a trade, if you can find an entry from current levels, about 24 pips. That'll be a risky trade. That's not a trade that I would take. I would look for a little bit more confirmation on that. Potentially, you see this might be a smaller trend line building up inside of here. If you look on a smaller time frame, that trend line may actually be currently being tested. If we start here and we place, gotta go from low to low. Yeah, it's currently being tested, guys. See that? See that? So from wick to wick, support to support, we can see on a 1 hour we do have a trend. We have a trend building up. Interesting. We have a trend line building up here, and this trend line is being tested currently coming outside of the zone. If it breaks through this, guys, we're going south. See, this is a strong area to get through. You're breaking through the 55 moving day average, breaking through former resistance levels and reversal areas, right? Support levels and resistance levels. And you're coming down, and you're now starting to try to break through a trend line. That's 3 confirmations in your favor that we may be looking for more sells. But in order for us to get the trend line confirmation, we have to wait for an open and close below the trend line to signify that sellers are in control, and we can continue seeing some push further south. So keep an eye on that. Set your alerts, guys. Set your alerts for areas breaking below this, because if we break below this, we have a little bit more room for a little bit more pips to be gained. That's at 62805. As well as if we come up above the 55 in this zone and we break above 63479, then we could be looking at some price continue going bullish. All right, so keep an eye on that, guys. We're just going to run through these real quick. That's the Audi dollar. Here we are with the euro dollar. We did enter a trade on the euro dollar, and that was yesterday. You can see that we entered a sell, and I'll explain why we entered a sell here on the euro dollar. We went for a quick 24 pips, not much. We only risked 16. And the trade that we entered, and the reason why we entered that trade, if you look here on the 1 hour, the 1 hour has this trend line here, right? But this is actually a 4-hour trend line, all right? You can see starting from this peak to this resistance peak here, came and broke through, all right? Actually, it broke through now. Current price is on breakthrough, but when we were trading, it actually came for a test. So this is the 4-hour chart, okay? Now, we did not trade the 4-hour chart. We traded the 1-hour chart. All right, so here's what it looks like on the 1-hour chart. On the 1-hour chart, what we find is this big push. So we were in sells, right? You can see that we're in a bearish market, and we had a bounce off of this trend line, a heavy, hard bounce off of this trend line. Again, we're trying to trap price here, right? Excuse me. You can see that we're trapping price with these trend lines. 4-hour trend lines. On the downside, we're red. On the upside, we're blue. All of this stuff hadn't happened yet. Okay, all of this hadn't happened yet. We entered on this candle here. Okay, so we were looking at the market at this blue candle and this red candle. So we're looking at the market. We see the rejection off of this support levels here, right? Support, heavy area support. This zone rejected. Plus, it came in confluence with the trend line. Downside trend line. The trend line got bounced off of, came all the way back and broke through the upper trend line. Oh, so now we need to say, okay, well, what's going on? We need to keep an eye on the market and find out if we actually are going to continue in a bullish trend to push towards some of these resistance levels up here. What we found is that on the open of the very next candle, we came down and closed below it. So this, to me, represents a bounce, okay? If you look at a higher time frame, this bounce would have looked like a wick, where you would have had this blue candle and this pullback to close right here. The candle would have closed here. You would have seen this big long wick. Let's see what that looks like. That's what it looks like here. You have this blue candle, came through, bounced off of the 55 moving average and our 4-hour trend line, created this wick, signified to me on the next candle. This is on 2-hour. So what we're looking at is on this candle, I need to go in for sells. Okay, so what I did was I went down to the 15-minute and found myself an entry. And here's the entry that I took. We broke through the trend line, came back below it, bounced off of this resistance level here, and came back to the trend line. At this point, I did not enter a trade sells because I'm looking at this going on here, and I'm like, nah, this is still above the trend line. We broke below the trend line. Would I have gotten into a buy here? Not necessarily, because I do know that there's some heavy resistance right here. But again, guys, this is the 15-minute. Okay, so there's some action going on that I want to keep an eye on. I'm not necessarily trying to go into buys prematurely just off of these bounces. So what I did was I waited for this to happen, and here's where I entered. When I started to see that this created the wick and closed below, when this wicked and closed below, all right, so yeah, try to hide some of this stuff. So anyway, when this blue candle right here wicked, let's see if I can use this stylus. It'll kind of get me in there. Still the same thing. Okay. But anyway, this one right here, this candle right here, wicked through the trend line and closed. So I entered on this red candle. Okay. I entered here on this red candle. It went against me for a little bit. My stop loss was up here. It went against me and then came and gave us our pips, and now it's still ranging in this area. All right. So, you know, that's the trade that I look like. I just traded it right back down in the zone, guys. So my stop loss was set above this resistance peak here. Right, just a couple of pips above, in case it broke above that, then we know we're looking at bears, at bulls. And then, you know, I said, all right, I'm just gonna go for a quick, whatever level this is here, back at this resistance level, excuse me, is what I was gonna go for. 24 pips is what it gave me. Went ahead and successfully took that trade. So we're 2-0 right now when it comes to wins, right? So currently where we are in the market, we're playing around with this trend line. Let's go back up to the higher time frame. So we're playing around with this trend line right now. So we broke through it, and now we're bouncing off of the backside of it. However, we're still, you know, under the 55 moving average. We still are below some of these reversal areas, but we're still above this heavy support area right here. All right, so we may find we're in a ranger market right now with the euro dollar. Again, we're the only market that's open right now currently here in the U.S. So we're just gonna move right along. So just keep an eye on breaks below 1.0288 and breaks above 1.07828. Okay, we're just keeping an eye on those two areas right there. All right, perfect. So let's go ahead and move on. Now take notes, guys. And I know I'm not writing this stuff down for you. I'm not putting all these signals and all this stuff in here for you guys. I'm just mentioning these areas. I want you to go to your chart and take a look at them yourself. If we can break above, all right, see all these lines right here, we can kind of get rid of some of this stuff right here. And then, you know, this zone is still a valid zone. All right, we'll keep that. Still a valid zone. This trend line, still a valid trend line. We can actually just move that to the next peak right there. Okay, this trend line here, still a valid trend line. Actually came above and broke right below it, and we are in price action right now, pushing below. We get this official break below here, guys, then we are looking at sells. If we get a break below these trend lines and this support levels here, so this is a zone that is playing in, we get below those, we could be pushing back to these support levels back down here, and that'll give us a few pips. Not, you know, maybe not crazy, 20-30 pips. All right, just go for 20-30 pips on this trade. Breaks below this, then we going long. All right, excuse me, then we going short for a lot more pips. All right, so that's what we have right there. And then let's go ahead and put out our levels. Yeah, we got our red down there. And we need our blue up here. The trade has been taken. We can erase for now. All right, then I'll come back in a week and we'll look at the trades that we took and what one and what didn't. All right, so here we are. We're currently below price, pushing below here. Let's see if we get a reversal. If not, then we could be looking at staying in this range. So be careful. Be careful messing around in this area here. All right. So let's continue to move right along. We are going on to our next chart, and we're looking at the dollar yen. All right. Really nothing going on here. Ranging has been doing so all day yesterday and the day before. It's been ranging for days now. This is back from the 15th. It's just been in this range. Really, look at that. That's just a flat action. All right, so what we were looking at, I think we were looking down here somewhere at reversals. All right, so we're in this range between this red and this blue, right? Between this red and this blue, you can see that we're playing around in this range. This is 1 hour candles, and we're just back and forth. Boom, 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 boom. Now we're up here. What would you be looking for now that you're at the top of the channel? You would be looking for confirmation to go and enter in shorts or sells, okay, because you're right here again. What does it do? It rejects off of this resistance level here. It finds itself right back along this support level here. But what you got to pay attention to on the greater scheme of things is now we're starting to close and trap price a little bit. We're not trapping price between the diagonal trend line and the horizontal trend line. So we're getting close now to seeing this thing maybe possibly make some sort of decision, okay? Because now we're starting to get in these areas right here. If you can see, you know, there's been some support levels in these areas, and it found its way to break through and above again and back. But now we're starting to find ourselves right back trapped in this area again. So you should actually be looking for sales, confirmation for sales. So what we currently have developing is possibly if we get a red candle to show some more sell pressure, we're looking at a pregnant bear. You get a couple closes on the other side of it, and it creates a support out of that pregnant bear. We can be looking for more sells. You have to be aware, though, of this trend line right here. I don't know how many pips you might be able to pull once those other two candles are created. Currently, looking for sells. All right, so if you get breaks above 107.959 in that area there, then we're currently looking for buys. If we get open and close at current levels and we start to create a resistance area out of this here below 107.845, then we could be looking at some sells going down to 107.618. You'll be able to get yourself, 20 pips, 10, 15 pips out of that. All right, so proper risk management. Again, if you're entering sells, your stop loss is going to be outside of the zone here, but you're going to have to put it above this guy here because he's sticking his head out and he's become the king of the castle. So now the castle has placed its peak here. You're going to have to put your stop loss above 108.050. So be careful. Proper risk to reward. If you're risking more pips than you are projected to gain, then you might want to reevaluate that trade. All right, but yeah, definitely at the time that we were looking at the charts yesterday, here's the area that we were in. All right, well actually we were over here yesterday after we got that bounce. Here's where we were yesterday, and we are not far from that price, so not a lot has happened. Excuse me, since then. All right, so we're gonna move on. As I said again, you're looking for breaks above 107.98 in that area, 107.95. You get breaks above 107.95, then you're looking for buys. If you get continuous sell pressure and you get some closes below this area here and creates a support out of this, then you'll be looking for sells. Be aware that you're above the 55 moving average and you are above this trend line. 4-hour trend line has been running, and you want to make sure that you're able to manage your trade when it gets to this area. Again, you have the support zone down here, and you have this trend line in your way. So you might want to be a little bit careful on that particular trade. That would be a range trade. It's not an uptrend or a downtrend. We are currently in a sideways ranging trend right now. All right, so we're going to move on to the next. Here's where we are. This trade actually failed. We did not get win on this trade. We lost on this trade. Lost 20 pips. So we were up 40. We were up 28 and 24. So that is 52. We were up 52 pips and just lost 20. So we are down to 32 pips for the day yesterday. So here's that trade. This is the dollar chef. If the stop loss was placed here, you can see it came down, took us out. Now, If you were looking at this and you were looking at maybe re-entering the trade to regain your pips, you could have looked at this zone right here as a place to do so, because again, it bounced right off of this area right here. And this area right here is the area of form of support, and we had a rejection at this point. So if you, we could actually should have set our stop loss, but we entered the trade up here, and I entered the trade on the 15 minutes. So my stop loss was somewhere down here, right? Yeah. But anyway, it came and took us out, right? It is what it is. Came and took us out. But what I did was, what's interesting is that on my account, if we look at that trade, we look at it here. This is the dollar chef trade. We actually got out of that trade early simply because we could not find justification to stay in after it started to reverse a little bit on us, right? So we had to kind of get out of that trade, and we exited the trade with a small profit. So one of the things that I recommend you guys do when you're trading is always keep in mind that your analysis is sometimes tight. And look, right, our analysis is tight. Look what happened. It's just that it happened a little bit later than we thought it would, and it needed a little bit more momentum to get to where we thought it might go. So it's the trade. If you were still in and you placed your stop loss somewhere below this support level here, right, and you would have to go a few pips below the peak, your stop loss was never hit, and now you are pushing towards your 20 pips in profit, right? Because at this current level, you're somewhere around 15 pips in profit. Okay, so it depends on what your risk management was. I think we want a 1-to-1 ratio on this, 20 and 20. Okay, you could have adjusted that a little bit to your liking. You could have moved our first take profit up to this resistance level right here in green, and then our stop loss somewhere below this peak right here. It came super close though. You would have been nervous that your stop loss would have been hit because you're looking at this peak. But once you saw this pull back and open a new candle and bullish, you possibly could have came in for a re-entry to recoup. Actually doing some cost averaging entries, right? Because now you're a little bit down. You won't be able to go in at the same lot size. You're going to do smaller lot sizes to maintain your margin. But you'll definitely be able to go in, and obviously you can see that your first trade as well as your consequent trades would have been positive. So that's just what it is on this. So what are we looking at now? We're looking at breaks above this area here, and we got that in this candle. We got a break above here, and we may be pushing ourselves again back towards this. We currently are sitting inside of a ranging market right now. On the 4-hour, it looks like we're in an uptrend, but if you look, our highs and our lows are still very close to each other. 55 moving day average is pushing bullish pressure on price right now. So we're going to have to keep that in mind as we look at these trades. So what I want to see is breakouts. I want to see breakouts below this level here, 96772. I want to see breakouts above this here, 97252. If we get reversals off of these trend lines, then we could be looking for some sells back down to this resistance level, support levels here. Again, keep in mind these resistance levels might create a reversal point for you. So we're going to actually have to mark that as potential reversal, where we might consider either exiting the trade if we're in sells, or entering the trade if we want to look at doing some buys coming off of the reverse. All right, so keep that area in mind right there. It's a nice little reversal zone. You have a lot of resistance playing around in that area. Keep that in mind. That's what we got for the dollar chef. All right, so next we're going to the pound dollar. Pound dollar showing us some pretty good action. We're starting to break below certain lines. We're actually bumping up. So we have this support level here that has been tested, has been played with, broke below, tested, came back down, gave it a few pips, broke right above, and now it's tested back on the upside of it. All right, so this is interesting. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're on a 4-hour. We're only 2 days away from where we were looking at in the market. So we are currently have a high, higher low, higher high, higher low. We may be looking at potential reversal off of this level here and pushing north so that we can get an actual higher high coming off of it. So pay attention to this, because currently, yes, this is a pregnant bull. being developed on a daily. And as I mentioned earlier, when we look at these charts, guys, I don't care what time frame you're on, candlesticks are candlesticks and they speak a language. It's just that we have to wait 6 hours for this new candle to enter here. And in your daily life, are you going to be committed to waiting that 6 hours to see the creation of this next candle? Probably not. You want to get your trades in now. That's why we trade these smaller time frames, because we're day traders, we're sticking in there. Long-term trader, you're looking at this as a setup, pregnant bull being created here. You want to see this created support level, and you would trade north to this next zone. And you'll find that this is several hundred pips away, right? Even if you get some creation of your if you take the same size, 1, 2, just to make this a support, right? Make this a support level, you have to go out a little bit, so you have to get some other candles to create. But if you go and you play to the next zone, that's 200 pips, guys. You go and you play to the next daily zone. You're playing on a daily chart, right? You're playing on a daily chart, and this is what you're looking at. You're going for 200 pips. Now, what we'll go for when we play these smaller time frames, a smaller amount of pips. You might get 20, 30, 50 pips out of the deal and not 200. You trade the daily, you're going for 200. All right, but also you have to recognize that your stop loss is going to be a little bit different. All right, you got to keep that in mind. Your stop loss, if you enter a trade somewhere up in this area here, your stop loss has to be below this here. So your stop loss is a 200 pip stop loss. Okay, a 200 pip stop loss for a 200 pip take profit. That's a 1-to-1 winning ratio. Okay, so you understand, even on the larger time frames, you can still get your 1-to-1 ratios. It's just that you just have to risk a lot more pips, which means you reduce your lot size, right? Or you just don't enter the trade. Go to a smaller time frame. Enter a trade on a smaller time frame. All right, so let's go down to the 4 hour. We just want to see what we could potentially be looking at. So if you're looking at buys, right, we're looking at bullish motion. Even though we got some breaks below, we're still looking at general bullish motion coming off of these trades. So let's go ahead and we're going to reset our trend line there, because I don't even know where that other point was even hitting. It seemed like we were breaking a trend line, but I don't see where. I mean, we did break trend lines. If you took a trend line between here and here, yeah, we broke it. If you take a trend line between here and here, yes, we broke it, but we actually are retesting. So we're going to draw new trend lines. This trend line here, excuse me, is simply drawn between this support and this support. All right, those are the two support levels. We drew those on. Keep those in mind. If it breaks through one, it might want to go to number 2. That is just how these things work. However, we are still in a buy uptrend. All right, so we're looking for buys in this particular market right now. What do we need to mark? We need to mark what areas. We have zones already listed here, support levels. This is the area of reversal. Keep in mind. And then we have an area of resistances right here. If we break above, we're heading to the next resistance right there. All right, so we're just keeping an eye on that. If we get breaks below 122,707, so let's go ahead and mark that. We're going to mark that here on the downside. We're going to make that red because, again, we're coming right back down to this zone. This is just an extension of this zone right here, guys. It just never physically hit with the wick, but it's still a part of this zone right here. But we just tighten it up right here with this line. Looking for these bumps. And we see you got this right here. So we can now say that this has been created to create this zone right here. That's pretty much what that's telling me. It's between there and here is the zone. All right. Keep an eye on that as an area for reversal. Stuff simple, guys. Real simple. Real simple. Area for reversal. If we stay above this and push and we start playing around in here, or if it breaks below and breaks this and it starts breaking through these trend lines, and boom, now we're looking at actual several confluences showing us that we will be in a downtrend for sales if we start to get breaks through zone 1, trend line 1, zone 2, trend line 2, and then we start to get a bounce off of this. Might play around here in this reversal area, and then might want to continue. Look at all this news upcoming on this thing. Maybe talk about later on this afternoon. Yeah, man. Actually, tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. This is stuff for tomorrow, the 23rd. All right. So that's what it is. This is London market tomorrow, most likely, right? Yeah, whatever. All right. Perfect. Perfect. All right, so that's what we're looking at, guys. Breaking up these zones right here, breaking below this zone right here. That'll give us an idea where we're going. All right, next chart, Audi Chef. You can see we have reversals off of the support levels here. All right. So you back on. So where were we? We were, all right, right here in this area right here. So we were looking at rejection coming off of the support levels here, all right? So we had this zone already marked. So when we were looking at the charts yesterday, we were somewhere down here, and this was a reversal area, right? So if I had seen this trade, I might actually would have got in on this trade right here. Forget about this for now, okay? Forget about this line right now. This line is going to get in the way of saying what I want you guys to see. All right, so here's what we're looking at right now. So here's what we have. We have a break of a trend line that's associated with this support level here. We have this zone. This right here is a reversal area. This right here is a breakout area. Combined, they create a zone that actually signify heavy area for a reversal. If we get a break below it, then we obviously looking at continuous motion south. However, the fact that this is a reversal point and a strong support point, then we're looking at this being an area of reversal, right? So when we came down to the market, we got the reversal. You can see that we have a wick being developed. As a part of that being developed, we have this pregnant bull being created right here. All right. So this pregnant bull is right here. Okay. Pregnant bull. You rock that on blue, showing that we are going for buys. Pregnant bull. You want this to become, in order to confirm this as a reversal for buys, you want this to confirm also as a support. It did so here on this candle. And you enter on this candle here, you got yourself 60 pips out of that trade, trading it next to the next trend line, or to the zone. If you want to trade it to the top of the zone, the bottom of the zone, 40 pips to the bottom of the zone. See that, guys? Easy, quick. Now, a lot of guys will come on there and teach you about how you can get all these hundreds of pips. We just looked at 3 or 4 trades that happened yesterday that all yielded anywhere from 20 to 30 to 40 pips. Some yielded 50, 60, 70, but we only went for 28, 24, 20 pips here, right? But if you guys want to go to, you just play them on the zones. You play them on the zones and you come into this next area right here, you got yourself 40 pips, right? So that's how that stuff works. So right now what we're looking at is we have rejection off of this support levels here. We may be looking at some continuous motion going south from there, right? So let's keep an eye on this here. We get a break above this trend line 61565, then we're looking for sells, looking for buys going long to 61980. We get a break above that, then that means we're coming to retest this former downside or bottom side trend line, which puts us 62283 in that area. A lot of pips to be gotten there on buys. We still are currently on an uptrend. All right. So just pay attention to that. If you did enter the trade here and you're up in this area here, you might want to go in, take a few of your lot sizes out, reduce your stop loss, moving in to take profit. Do some of those things to preserve your account so that you can get some momentum pushes to continue going on. So I'm going to keep an eye on this here. If we get breaks below 60599, then we're out of here, right? We need to go 60639, and we need to go ahead and start looking at sells. Right, start breaking some of these areas right here. Boom. Yeah, so yeah, we playing around in these areas right here. So here's where we are right now on the 1 hour. We have this reversal level here. We came and broke above this, so now this serves as a reversal point, in which it is actually doing that. The market came back, broke above it, and is retesting it, and is now reversing off of it. That's how this stuff works, reversing off of the 55 moving average as well. However, now stuck between this reversal level and this reversal level. So right now we're just looking on a breakout. A break above this support area here, boom, we out of here. Break above that, we out of here. Break below, then we need to take that in consideration too. Now to give us an idea that we are, coming up against some coming up against. See, now he's pushing through. Look at that. Look at that. Pushing, 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 pushing. Ha ha. Bang, bang. Look at that. This thing's pushing right on through, right? If you were trading this bounce, you have a few things in your favor. You have this pregnant bull right here. You have this wicks right here. You have a bounce off the 55 moving average, and you got a bounce off a reversal point. You could have been in the trade right here if you go down to the 15-minute and find yourself an entry. All right, you find yourself an entry probably on the current candle that is on right now, just because we came and pulled off with this heavy wick, pulled off of that, maintained above this resistance level here on the 15, pulled above that, you would have been up 6 pips minus your if you got a 2 pip or a 1.5 pip spread, then you would have been up 3 pips. So you would have been positive though. But again, man, you're running into the zones right here. It's a heavy traffic to get through. Obviously, it's not heavy on the 15-minute, but heavier on the 1 hour, and so on and so forth. So, just take that into consideration. All right, so that's the Audi chef, guys. All right, so here we go with the Audi yen, playing around on this level right here. You're looking for breaks above 6. Yeah, so let's go ahead and mark that. Let's go ahead and go. All right, we have our levels marked already. We have our levels marked already. Okay, this thing stays the same. Breaks below here, we're going south. Breaks above here, we're going to push against these reversal areas here, because you can see we have a lot of resistance coming up against the support level here. If we get back to that, we may be currently looking at going into enter some sells. If we get above it, we'll be looking for more buys. All right, real simple. However, we are in a general uptrend, so we should probably be looking for buys. We are currently sitting on top of a reversal point right here. Right, it's been broken, tested, broken below, and now we're right above again. So this might not hold as much weight, but you can see that it's still playing around that area. Still playing around that tight area. So it's a tight area to get through here. We will see some action going on. We're just looking for breakouts, guys. That's what we are looking out for. Looking out for breakouts. On to the next, New Zealand franc. All right, so we got the New Zealand franc, Kiwi chef, whatever. All right, so what are we looking at here? We have resistance level here, most recently on a 4-hour. It's not even technically not yet, not until this one closes. We got support level here. We got reversal levels here. Reversal levels here. Tighten that up a little bit. Reversal because of this support candle here. Came broke below it. Now creating a new ceiling out of this old floor. All right. Here what we have here. This is interesting. It's probably marked on a smaller chart. Right, yep, because you have all this right here, all this resistance levels right here. But that's been played around where you can see this is a tight little area right here that we're not playing below. Inside of a downtrend on the 1 hour. Get breaks below this, we pushing back this. If we get breaks below 0.57589, we're going south. We get breaks above 58082, we're going north. Temporarily until the next zone, we're going south. To this next zone here. Yep. All right. Reversal areas there. Breakout points there. There's a few different places we can play around with that. So we're just looking for some more confirmation on breakouts on this chart right here. All right. So let's keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and just keep an eye on that. If we need to extend the trend line, we can extend the trend line here on 4-hour, just for us to see that we have a level that's being played with right now on this trend. You see that? So you see how we bounce trend line between this support and this support. We came and bounced off. We're bouncing off of it now. We may be looking at a bounce closer up to here and then continue along this. So we just got to watch this stuff, guys. Breaks below support level here, trade into the next zone. Breaks above resistance level here, trade into the next zone. Alright, that's pretty much how you're playing in this range of market right now. Alright. So we're going to be looking at some reversals actually too. Trade to the next zone. Alright, keep an eye on that. Set your alerts. Here we are at the Euro Audi. Downtrend, a lot of downtrend pressure. We just came off of this rejection point here. Oh, that's sweet. That's sweet. So where we were yesterday, we were down here yesterday. We had marked this as a major area of reversal because we have all the supports down here. We marked this as an area to keep an eye on because we have these resistances up here, and that's what it did. Came down to this, bounced off of that, and went up there. So if you traded the bounce, got yourself a quick little 20, 30 pips out of that, maybe even 40 pips. Let's take a look. Excuse me, 270 pips off of the Euro Audi yesterday. 270 pips off of our reversal points that we marked yesterday. Check that out. How did I miss that one? Probably because I was looking for sales. And we had the 55 above us at the time. And I was thinking, I didn't think anything necessarily as far as getting into sales. I was maybe looking for sales because we're in a downtrend and maybe needed a break below this. But we could see 1 tap, 2 tap, 3 tap, 4 tap, and then shoom. Yeah, because look at that. That's also a reversal point. Crazy, right, how these things work. I just bounced off of that. Boom, boom, boom. Real sweet. Look at that. So sweet. So now we're just going back south. We're going to find ourselves back here again. Keep an eye. If you get confirmation on the 15-minute that we're getting bounces off of that and showing us some action to go north, add to the buy to the next zone. It's a 200 pip difference between here and there. Crazy. All right. So where we at now? Let's go and take a look. Let's go down and look at where we might look at entering some trades. All right. So we're coming back. We're right above this rejection level. We're right below this rejection level here, actually. So we are confirming to go push south. So if you get a break below, here, so let's go ahead and mark that out. All right. We get a break below here. We're looking to enter some more sells down to the next zone. The spread between there and here, you get yourself a good to the top, to the inside of the zone, 76 pips. To the outside of the zone, 96 pips. Boom. That's how you rock it, right? You below the 55 moving average. If you get some action down here, take that down to the next zone, get yourself some pips out of that. Once we get down here, we're looking at, unless it tells us that is going to give us a breakthrough, then we're looking at entering buys to go right back up to the next zone, because this is a nice strong one that is created right here with these resistances. So that's sweet, guys. That's sweet. If we get a break above here, then we're looking at potentially going back up to test the zone again. So let's keep an eye on that. That'll potentially be your stop loss as well, somewhere above here if you get broke down below this level here. All right. So perfect. All right. So that's what we're taking a look at right there on the Euro Audi. Pound yen. We are in sell territory right now with pound yen. Actually, this is buy territory on a 4-hour. Sell territory slightly here. But if you look at this zone between green and green, yeah, that's kind of rough right there. So that's going getting up out of there. All right, let's go ahead and mark this up. 4-hour chart. Let's go ahead and mark this up. First place we're going to start is we're going to look for major areas of reversal, which will be the supports down here. 1, 2, 3. Look at all that. Now you got all that hitting right there. So let's go ahead and mark that as an area for reversal. And it starts all the way back here, guys. Crazy. All right, and then we're looking for a break below here. All right. You can see that, right? Break below here. So support levels here. 4-hour. 1 support. 2 support. All right. And then we're looking for, see if we can find a break above here. Nice tight area of resistances up there. And then we also have the same situation not too far from it coming on right here. Now, keep in mind that this resistance level also coincides with a support level. That means that this is an area of reversal. Keep that in mind. We get a break above, then we're going for more sells. Stays around this area, confirms that we're continuously going south, and to the trades to go south. Breaks below this, double up on your lots to continue going. All right. So go ahead and measure that out. Keep these zones in mind. See if we can get some trend lines drawn here. So if you take a look at this from here down to here. All right. That's one trend line there. Let's go ahead and try to lock that in a little bit tighter. All right. I want these joints to be a little bit more exact because that gives us a little bit better measurements. Perfect. All right. So we color that blue, guys. We already know the routine. Keep it simple. We get a break above. Then we're looking at buys. Let's go ahead and mark the same trend lines down here on the bottom side. Back to these levels here. Okay. So what we simply did, we just went from the lowest low as far as what we can see here on the chart up to the next resistance. This would be considered the outer trend line. You could draw some of these trend lines on the inner trend lines, but they've been broken. They could possibly come back to be retested. But we have retesting areas already. 1, 2, 3, 4 retesting areas within this levels here. We got enough retesting areas to keep an eye on. All right, so we list this one down here. We just give this one a color and give that red for a breakdown south below. And we good to go. We're just going to go down here to 1 hour, see if there's anything that we need to keep an eye on here on the 1 hour. It'll be this area right here as far as reversal point if we can't get below this. But for right now, I like how this looks. This is perfect. Nice area for rejections. This is a perfect area to trade when you get into sales. If you get bounces off of this, you could go in for sales because it'll also be bouncing off of this trend line. All right, so keep that in mind, guys. You get up here, you gotta kill them with some sales. You kill them with some sales, and the sales will be played right back down to this trend line. All right, breaks below this trend line, then it trades down to this support levels here. Simple stuff, y'all. Easy, simple stuff. Real simple. Not easy because of emotions. That's the part we got to keep an eye on, y'all. So that's what we got to focus on. All right, so we're going to move on to the next. I think we already got that one covered. Here comes a dollar CAD. And I'm actually going to take all these drawings off of here so we can start fresh on the dollar CAD. All right, dollar CAD, here we go, USD CAD. So what we're looking at right now, let's go ahead and determine our general trend. Ranging. We're on a ranging trend right now. All right, so we have low, high, lower high, higher low, lower high, lower low, higher. It's nuts. Well, we flat right now, right? Flat. So let's go down. If you want to go into a smaller trend, you can say the smaller 1, 2, 3, the weekly, and the weekly, sorry, for the last week we've been in the uptrend. All right, but guys, let's go ahead and look at this 4 hours. See. All right, uptrend, low, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, potentially a higher low. Might be an uptrend. We got some 55 moving average pressure below it. All right, so we might look for buys in this here. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and mark this out. So we are on the 4 hour. We can start marking out on the 4 hour. We will go ahead and mark this as an area that we need to be paying attention to up here. All right, nice little area right up here. You know. So you got this. Look at that. Break above that, you got that. Break below here. Here's an area for rejection, all right? Here's an area for reversal coming off of this resistance. So we're going to mark that. You know, we try to mark just at, three little levels. Break above, reversal somewhere in the middle, break below. Simple, easy. All right, you already know the color scheme. Blacks are reversals, blues are are resistances to break through, and reds are supports to break below. Break south, break north. Simple, easy, boom, boom, boom. All right, so we're in this little range of market right now. So let's go ahead and the last thing we'll do is just give ourselves some trend lines, just to give us a little bit more confirmation of where we can see some reversals. Okay, you know how we mark that. You already know how we mark that, all right? And then we can go ahead and take this one here. Now let's see if we can get a nice little boom boom right there. All right, and then I see another one. Matter of fact, sorry, let's go ahead and bust that down right there. All right, and then you hit that one right there, boom. All right, so you see the craziness behind these trend lines. Look at that. See that the market follows horizontal trends, where as far as resistances and supports places to where supply and demand are met. And then these supports and resistances, these supports follow diagonal trends. Resistances follow diagonal trends. All right, crazy. So that's what we're looking at, guys. Break below here, we going south. Bounces off of that, we continuously going north. Right, so we're looking at bounces. So right now, you could probably be looking for some buys because now we're coming up against a bounce off of this trend line right here. All right, so if we go down a little bit to the 1 hour, we can see how we got close to that as a reversal level. Actually, we sitting on top of this as a reversal level here on the 1 hour. So if we tighten that up a little bit, we can tighten that up a little bit. That hits these areas right here, boom, boom. We got that reversal coming off of that. You could potentially find yourself some buys, get above the 55 moving average, get above this guy right here. Then you could go ahead and look for some buys. So we'll bust down blue on this. We get above that, we're going into some buys. Right there. Because we get above this, then we can be breaking down this reversal levels right here. It's tight though. You got all this action going on right here. Bouncing off of this. Came, broke above, boop, boop, boop. Bouncing, and now it's broke back below. Whew. Alright, just gonna keep an eye on it. You know how it go. Keep an eye on it, set your alerts, break above, we're looking for buys, break below, looking for sells, break below this trend line, definitely going for sells, crazy. Alright, keep an eye on that, trade into zones. One zone to the next. Alright, so we're running out of charts, y'all. Euro yen, we can see where we at. We on a reversal level right here. This thing might just want to take itself back on up. If you're looking to enter the market on this right now, you could possibly enter on some buys, but we are currently in a general downtrend. So you want to be careful entering buys off of this reversal, because if you notice, the buys, let's see how much these buys have yielded. They may have yielded, 40 pips right there. All right, 50 pips right there. And 37 pips right there. So you can get yourself a good 20 pips out for these bounces or whatever, right? Breaks below, pay attention that this is a zone that we're messing around with right there. All right? So definitely keep an eye on that. We do have 55 moving average pressure on us. We have sell pressure and a downtrend on us. So be careful entering buys. Keep an eye out for your sells. Okay. Perfect pound franc. You can see these levels that we're messing around with here. Is I marked these in yellow because these, a while back I was marking these different. All right, but these you can still see that the zones are still valid. The zones are still valid here. You got support levels down here, and all these are support levels. What's up, son? You got all these support levels down here that we're bouncing off of. We got these bounces off of this, came back up above these support levels right here, and now sitting above it. Could be looking at some trades going. This is tricky because we're coming down on a downswing. We're starting to break some of these lower lows, and we're retesting that. So we broke below and retesting it. You might be looking at some sells right now. Might possibly be looking at some sells. So keep an eye out for that on the pound franc if you guys trade the pound franc, right? All right, you trade the pound franc. Keep an eye out for sells. Euro NZD. You guys go ahead and mark up your charts. I'm running out of charts to run up for you guys. You can see that all these things have already been marked up, and we're just starting to play with some of these levels. This Euro CAD, let's take a look at this Euro CAD. We're flat right now in the range, and this range sits below. It sits right here, around here, and down here. Yeah. So we just messing around with these zones, man. Playing around inside of this thing here. We get breaks above, we going for buys. We get bounces. You get a bounce coming off of this trend line, go for buys. You get breaks below this trend line and below this zone right here, you're going for sells. All right, you can take this trend line out of here. You don't need that anymore. Okay. That's interesting right there. Let's go ahead and just extend this one, man. You can see that this is just going to bounce off of that potentially, right? So we put that one in there, and then we just do another one. That's alright, we just do it one more. Like right there. Trap that a little bit. We'll go ahead and let's go ahead and trap this here too. Like that, just like that. Alright. Bang, bang, bang. Yeah, change that down. I don't need them to be so thick. Simple stuff, guys. I mean, this stuff is quite simple. We set these lines. We look for breakouts. We look for reversals. Alright, we look for breakouts. We look for reversals. Breakouts, reversals. Alright, that's what we look for. General trend right now is a range of markets going flat. So we're looking for bounces inside of the zones. Okay? Simple stuff, guys. Keep an eye on that. Alright, so we're moving on. Canadian dollar, Japanese yen. We're sitting above. We came and broke below this support level here. And now we're back above it. Potentially, again, we're in a flat ranging market right now between this green. And you can move this down here. A lot of this shit ain't even necessary. Look at all that. Get that out of here. Get that out of here. You just gotta mark all these different levels. Get that there, and then you're just gonna mark this where it needs to be. Boom. Same thing. This one here needs to be marked below. Alright. So we're just gonna see what this does, man. Because this right now sitting above this reversal level right here. Interesting. It's sitting right below this reversal level right here. So we gotta keep an eye on that right there. Keep an eye on that nigga right there. Alright, yeah, keep an eye on him right there. So we gotta see that. Boom, boom. That's reversing off of that. And we are below, so we might be looking for some sells. Sells back down to this zone right here. There's some yield right there, I'm sure there is. 100 pip yield, potentially. Alright, yep. Sells, we're looking at reversals coming off of this. Entering sells on the Canadian dollar yen. You know, look for some confirmations, of course. And you can see that we do have confirmation that we have a break below, big wick. No engulfing candles, though. No real candlestick pattern that we can. It's a shooting star, or whatever they call these. But anyway, it's a wick on a small body. But it's giving bullish instead of bearish, so bearish would have been a little bit better. Alright, so we just keep an eye on that, but that might give us some sells. It might give us some sells. Alright, so keep an eye on that one. And well, that's the Swiss franc, the New Zealand dollar. Bouncing off of zones. There's the pound Audi. Alright, with the pound Audi. Let's see, I think that might have been our last. Yep, that's our last single for the day. Pound Audi. We entered the trade yesterday on this pound Audi, by the way. This trade is down here. There's a pound Audi trade. Successful on that trade. Came out with 20 pips. So we did 50 pips yesterday in total. All right, between all the trades. Potentially would have been 70, but we lost 20. Did 50 in total. 50 pips a day. Definitely keep the bill collectors away. Trading proper lot size with a good size account. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this money, y'all. Let's go ahead and trade well. Let's trade smart. Let's keep an eye on these zones. Let's read these candlesticks. Study. Stay on top of it. Tlfx. Once again, this has been Tlfx. We've been on for about an hour or so. Shout out to everybody who's been checking in on these daily chart markups. I got more coming. We're going to be doing some tutorials on how to read candlesticks, candlestick patterns, drawing trend lines, horizontals. I really just want to get you guys just really seeing how we're actually looking at live markets, live candlesticks. For more detailed information, always hit me up at TrepLifeFX, at TrepLifeAce, TrepLifeAce. And put FX at the end of it. Take Ace off for the TrepLifeFX channel on Instagram. Find me on YouTube or anywhere else. Happy trading, y'all. Peace.